Today we're diving into 3 essential Procreate features: Alpha Lock, Clipping Mask, and Layer Mask. One of my students asked me to shine a light on these, so let's break them down and see how they can transform your digital art. Hi, my name is Jutta. On my channel, I'll show you everything you need to know to improve your digital artwork and create your own tools. Welcome to my studio. Alright, Alpha Lock, Clipping Masks, and Layer Mask sometimes seem to do similar things, but they are quite different and each of them has its purpose, pros and cons. Alpha Lock, technically not a mask by the way, blocks transparency, so you can only manipulate existing pixels on the locked layer. A clipping mask is clipped to another layer, leading you to the same result. You can only draw where there's pixels in the mother layer, but you draw on a separate layer. Layer masks allow you to hide or reveal parts of a layer without making permanent destructive changes. So let's have a look at how each of them works in Procreate, what's their best use, and where there might be a disadvantage. Let's start with Alpha Lock. We have a cute watermelon popsicle here. It looks a bit plain though, so let's add some shading. And since I don't want to draw over the edges of my popsicle, I am enabling Alpha Lock. There's 2 ways of doing so. Open the Layers panel, tap your watermelon layer, and then Alpha Lock. You can also just use 2 fingers and swipe the layer thumbnail to the right. Alpha Lock is enabled when you see the checkerboard pattern in the layer thumbnail. Now I can draw my highlights and shadows on the same layer. This is a quick and easy way to altering the layer, and it saves you layers, which we all know can sometimes be a problem, depending how powerful your iPad is or how large your canvas. But what if I'm not happy with what I just did? I want to adjust the colors or the stroke is too wide. That leads us to the big disadvantage Alpha Lock has. When I erase everything on this layer. I can't make any adjustments to my shading too, like changing the blend mode or hue, saturation, brightness, as it will always manipulate everything on this layer. That's why I would always opt for a clipping mask when my iPad allows. So let's undo the changes we've just made on the original layer and add a clipping mask instead. We tap the Layer panel and add a new layer by tapping the plus icon. Then we tap the new layer and enable Clipping Mask. The little arrow here shows us that it is clipped to the layer below. Now I can draw my shading. It still won't reach beyond the shape of our popsicle, but I can also make changes without damaging the original layer. The number of layers I can clip to the original is only limited by the total number of possible layers, which can make the illustration quite large and complex, if not confusing. It also limits the possibilities I have with the original layer. Clipping masks are only fully opaque when the mother layer is, for example. Both of these points can be a downside. Let's move on to layer masks now. They have a different purpose, which is hiding or revealing parts of a layer without actually erasing. Let's add a layer mask to our popsicle now. Go to the Layers panel, tap the popsicle layer and tap Mask. We see a white layer evolve and it is firmly attached to the layer below. If I tap either of these 2 layers, they will always turn blue together. However, to make my changes, I need to be on the layer mask. Now, we cannot draw regularly on this layer, as masking only works with grayscale hues. Simply said, black erases, or better hides, and white reveals. Gray tones erase transparently, which can also be very handy. To be honest, it can be a bit confusing in regards to what hue to use and where to draw. If I turn off the visibility of the mask, we can see that the original layer is still intact. Let's recap. Alpha Lock is a quick and easy way to manipulate a layer without reaching over the border of the shape. It saves on layers, but it changes the layer permanently. Clipping masks enable you to make flexible changes on separate layers, keeping the original layer intact, but they can make an illustration confusing and layer-consuming. Layer masks are a non-destructive way of hiding and revealing parts of a layer, but it is a bit more complex. And that's it for today's tutorial. If you have any questions or want me to cover a certain topic in my next tutorial, let me know in the comments. As always, I hope you'll give this a try and you'll show your results on social media. Don't forget to tag me in your post so that I will be able to find your art and feature it in my stories. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell to not miss any of my future videos. And of course, like this one and share it with all your creative friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!